Anyhow, so I'm going to do this video because I found some really disturbing news that the Reign, which is the uh, semi-pro or some would say pro soccer league for women, is leaving Tacoma and going to Seattle. Now, this isn't much of a shock because, to be honest with you, back whenever the Reign came here, they didn't really want to come to Tacoma to begin with. And a lot of people speculated that once it was bought out by a different person, that they would probably end up moving the team to Seattle anyway. They never did take on the Tacoma name. The men's soccer league, which is minor league, they took on the name of Tacoma Defiance. And they used Tacoma in their name. It wasn't like the Washington such and suches or any of that. And it shows that you are naming yourself after the city. I mean, in fact, even Everett has their own little team up there. All these places have a team, and it's called after themselves. So it was great that the Defiance put Tacoma in their name. But the Reign never did. It was kind of like they felt like Tacoma was similar to a lot of other places too, right? You would never catch a lot of these big corporate companies that you see up in Seattle down in Tacoma because Tacoma is viewed as less than. It's the way that it comes off, right? They don't want to come here. It's kind of like a downgrade. Doesn't make sense, but it's kind of like a downgrade. So it's not surprising that, the Reign would go off up to Seattle to Lumen Field and be inside of a large stadium that's already built. Now, what's strange about this is that Lumen Field is a NFL stadium. It's not a soccer stadium. It's a NFL stadium. Yes, the sight lines and everything are better. Yes, it's a higher profile type of thing and all of that. But to be honest with you, it's a bit silly, in my opinion. Because you're saying that, they don't want to play in a minor league baseball stadium forever. But on the same token, they're going to a football stadium up in Seattle. Right? Now, of course, the ownership can do whatever they want to do. Right? They're not, the problem with sports teams are they don't really, a lot of times, do much for the city that they're in. A lot of people who push back against building stadiums talk about how there's only rare instances like what you see with the Seattle Kraken and the ownership there. They truly love Seattle, apparently, because they took an arena and completely gutted the entire interior. The roof is what's iconic the most. The rest of that is a completely new stadium under the same roof. They've added a whole lot of stuff, and they did that out of their own pocket, right? They did that out of their own pocket. So not only that, but they also bought a team. Seattle didn't have to spend any money at all because the people who took over this really loved the city. So they're like, might as well. Now, Tacoma should get with developers that have the money to do what they say that they're going to do, right? Not with people that's going to need a little bit of a handout or help. You get what I'm saying? There's always, some of these stadiums do not have to be grandiose at all. For a soccer-specific stadium, it doesn't have to be grandiose. If you look at Portland, Portland started off with a minor league little soccer stadium, and then they converted it to become a big, huge MSL class stadium. It was very smart. Portland has done a lot of smart things. And then when you look at Seattle, Key Arena, again, that group did a very smart thing. Down here in Tacoma, they want to put the soccer stadium all the way out there where the baseball stadium is, which to me is stupid. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to put a baseball field away from the city center. I think it's dumb. Right? Now, this is where that stadium has been. I think one prior was out there or something, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I think as far as a soccer-specific stadium for a minor league team or minor league size should be built downtown or in the Dome District, right? The city is wanting to basically create an entertainment zone right over there by the dome. Why not take this opportunity to take that parking lot that they're not using, a triangular parking lot, and turn that into a soccer specific stadium area or somewhere in that area. In the Dome District, there's a lot of areas over there where you can probably buy a warehouse, tear it down, and build up. Yet they won't do that. And that's what's so frustrating, right? That's what's so frustrating is that it's going to be out there in the middle of really nowhere. Because a lot of times what people fail to understand is that sometimes people visit a city just because they have nothing to do and they're like, oh, there's a game going on? Cool. When we were in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which did it right, they put the baseball stadium downtown, the minor league stadium, they put it downtown. Other cities like Albuquerque, Tacoma, don't understand why they build stuff away from downtown. It's the most stupidest thing ever. In both cities' cases. And now in New Mexico, they were trying to get voters to approve of building the stadium right there in downtown, and the voters said no. Of course they're going to say no, right? They're not going to go for that. Well, they got smart with the idea of wanting to put it downtown, but it just didn't happen. Here, there's no mention of that. They're going to put the proposed soccer stadium all the way out there where the minor league baseball stadium is, right? There's available land. There's all this stuff. I get it. There's parking already over there. I get it. However, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, I'm back. Have to blow my nose. So I get all that. But putting it downtown makes the most sense when you're trying to create more of an atmosphere downtown of people moving about, roaming around. I don't understand it. For the life of me, I don't get the decision making. So now I think that the Reign decided to move to Seattle because it appears that the deal fell through. So apparently the soccer deal fell through for the stadium. That fell through. I guess the developer just doesn't have the coin for it or the city can't get it going. I don't know the circumstances. But based on a news release, the OL Reign are moving to Lumen Field up in Seattle. And of course, they give all the praises of Seattle and this, that, and the other. And, you know, we want to thank this and thank that. It's like, yeah, whatever. To me, I think that's just a cop-out. I have no respect for teams that do that. I have no respect for ownership that does stuff like that to cities when they're trying their best. Seattle has a glut of entertainment options, whereas Tacoma does not. These other cities prevent us, and to keep in mind too, when they put in the Kraken hockey team, the NHL team up there in Seattle, they could have easily put the training facility down in Tacoma. To be honest with you, that would have been great. That would have been wonderful. Nope, they basically kept that in Seattle also, and they put it up by Northgate, and it's there, right? The other areas around here have hockey, so they're saying that putting something down here really wouldn't make a lot of sense because it'll take away from those other folks and blah 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 blah. It's just annoying to be really the second largest city in the state and yet nothing. So now there is within a similar text, because there was a news release about the OL Reign, but in a text, a tweet, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying that the Defiance may move to Spokane, right? That the Defiance may move to Spokane, and guess what? Spokane probably will build the stadium downtown. I will bet anything on it. If it did, they may be temporarily someplace else, but they will probably build the stadium right in downtown Spokane. I could probably bet this house on it. Spokane already has a mall downtown. They've had one for years. I guarantee you they're going to put it downtown because that makes a lot of logical sense. This is where we need to have a coming together moment where the city of Tacoma needs to do whatever it needs to do to raise the funds to build a very basic soccer stadium, and it should be right next to the Tacoma Dome. You already have a lot of transportation options over in that area. All of the transit cluster is right in that area. You're getting new apartment buildings and different things over there. The energy is there. Why not build it there versus out in the middle of nowhere? It just doesn't, this isn't Washington, D.C., where all of D.C. is just clustered and built up. There are many places in Tacoma close to downtown where you could build a stadium. Now, I'm not saying tear down a bunch of houses. No, I'm not saying tear down a bunch of buildings. What I'm saying is tear up a parking lot that's not really used at all, that was actually the city put up for an entertainment zone. Why not take this opportunity and put the soccer stadium there? Why not sell bonds or buy bonds or whatever they do and get this done? It doesn't make sense. So it doesn't surprise me about the Reign. They never really claimed Tacoma anyway. They kind of came down here because they felt like they had no options and they felt like nobody cared. So then they go up to Seattle. And really, to be honest with you, you get that sense of not being loyal to the city anyway. You get that. The Defiance, on the other hand, we would want to keep them. We want to keep both. But if you, again, don't go where you're somewhat tolerated. I don't deal with people or teams or businesses where they kind of tolerate you. There's reasons why Tacoma is head and shoulders above a lot of the cities in this region, including Seattle on many accords. And yet a team wants to go and do that. Just like when the Oklahoma Thunder became the Oklahoma Thunder and the Sonics were left high and dry. I thought that was a stupid move. It was a stupid move. You go to a tiny city compared to what Seattle is. It just was, it's a boneheaded, dumb thing. But again, that's somebody else's money. Do whatever you want to do. But I think as far as Tacoma, the city needs to do something about it. And it may not be within this particular group of city leaderships, the people that are sitting there now. Maybe they don't have the ability to get this done. I don't know. This deal probably fell through as far as the stadium goes because of COVID. COVID has caused a lot of issues. But I think we need to have the right people in place to get stuff done because we keep losing opportunities for development. We keep losing opportunities that could possibly happen and help the city. We just don't have the right people, the right businesses, the right organizations involved. We really don't. That's why I've actually taken an active role in trying to recruit businesses down here, handpicking certain businesses, reaching out to them and trying to get them down here because no one else is doing it. The people that can make it happen aren't really doing that. And so it's sad that we have a situation like this. I mean, teams move all the time. And again, it doesn't surprise me about the Reign. I care more about the Defiance, and I hope it's not true that they are looking to leave. But I agree, they cannot play at a soccer, I mean, they could. They cannot play at a baseball stadium forever. But part of the deal was that the city would focus on getting a soccer-specific stadium. Now, I don't know if the Lumen Field thing is going to be forever or not. I have no clue. I think that one of the issues is that the Sounders also have games that go on right there in Lumen Field as well. So there's going to be a lot of jostling around and trying to figure out schedules. Eventually, it's just going to be a bunch of BS. It's not going to work out in the long run because you got one stadium that's trying to serve three different things at one time. It just isn't going to work, especially when you're talking about just that general area in Seattle. It just isn't going to work long term. It isn't. I do think that Tacoma needs to have those hard discussions and go about it themselves. If Bowling Green, Kentucky can build a very basic baseball stadium downtown without all the frills and all that, if they can do that, Tacoma for sure can build a 5,000 seat soccer specific stadium. They for sure can. And if there's pushback from a team, just say, hey, if you want a 7,000 seat stadium, you pay for that extra 3,000 seats or the extra 2,000 seats, whatever it is. You pay for that extra. We're building a basic 5,000 seat stadium. When it's justified and you can get people to sell out, all the games sell out, and you continue to do that, cool. Within 5 years, we'll add on to that. We'll keep expanding the facility as much as we need to and adding stuff where we need to. But have it where the city owns that, just like they own the Tacoma Dome. There should be an active role in trying to get the dome with a team of some sort, arena football or something. There should be an active role in trying to get it done. It goes back to there's so much atrophy in Tacoma sometimes. There's so many things that an outsider can look at and say, dang, why don't they use this? Right? It's just like having a lawn full of grass as tall as your head. And you're just sitting there looking at it, but the weed eater's just hanging out in the storage closet. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any dang sense. We have areas of the city that it doesn't take a lot of money to really revamp and revitalize and change things. And yet you don't have people that have the fortitude to get it done. These are people from all ranks, from business folks all the way up to city leadership. There's not this fortitude to get something done. And we're not talking millions of dollars. We're talking basic stuff. You see what I'm saying? It boggles the mind. It's keeping the status quo, doing enough to keep things afloat, but it's not going above and beyond to make stuff happen. That's the thing that gets on my nerves. So then opportunities are missed. Like, for example, we missed out on having Topgolf. Well, a business they're not going to sit here and wait for people to be texting their friends and, asking their buddies, and, what does our team think? They don't care about that. That is one of the things that bothers me the most about Tacoma. I love the city. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great city. But when it comes to getting stuff done, there's so much of sitting and waiting and talking to people and talking to others. And what does such and such think? Well, such and such runs this. We got to ask them, even though it has nothing to do with that particular group. And by the time all that gets done, another city comes by and says, yeah, we have this option. And of course they're going to jump for it. You see what I'm saying? Like there's some things that are done very efficiently, very well. There's other sections when it comes to true development outside of housing. It just sucks. It really does. I'm sorry. It just sucks. So it doesn't surprise me that the Reign are gone. It's going to suck if the Defiance leaves. But I think it should be a lesson to the folks here. It won't be, but it should be a lesson. I still think the city should move forward and try to get a stadium done. It should be in downtown. It should not be out there way far, far away. It should be where people can easily take a train and, the light rail train, go over to the stadium, drink all day, drink until they fall down, take the train back to their home. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be out in podunk parts of Tacoma where people go out there and you can't have a drink because you got to drive back because there's no public transportation over there. You see what I'm saying? Or you get on the bus, but it takes an hour for the bus to get there because the connections aren't fast enough. The reason why I push downtown is because everything is right there. There's parking garages. People can walk around. It creates a festive atmosphere. We can get people out and about. More businesses will locate over there because they want to capture that crowd. We don't do that. So instead, everything in its mama goes up to Seattle, and nobody down here is really going to go up there. You see what I'm saying? Like, once you fight all the traffic, pay $80 for parking, it's like, what's the point of going up there? It's not a family fun event. You get what I'm saying? So we had an opportunity down here. It was completely spoiled. I have no idea what people are doing in terms of just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. It should be a quick, fast, let's get this done. Find the money. There's money in Tacoma. There's enough to get this thing started. You don't need to build a $180 million stadium. for a minor league team. You need a 20 million bucks, 30 million bucks. It's not going to be the prettiest stuff. It's not going to have all the shiny stuff, and it's not going to be Seattleized or Bellevue. It definitely won't look hoity-toity. It will be very basic, and that's really all that's needed. It's going to be very basic, but it's functional. It works. That's what we need. And unfortunately, we just don't have the people here to do it, to get it done. I go back to the same thing in terms of just attractions downtown. We don't have the right people to get stuff done. That's what sucks. That's what sucks. We do have a lot of great gyms. We have a lot of things that are amazing. But it's like there's no one really or no group that's trying to actively get more stuff down here. And again, that creates a lot of foot traffic. You just don't have it. It took a developer who was thinking way out of the box to say, hey, we're going to put a 2-story farmer's market in. I mean, I almost passed out because most developers don't do anything other than catering to apartments. That's all they cater to. They don't come in, and then Trent Development is another one. I couldn't believe it. They're actually filling in their space down there. They're not just leaving it as, well, we have to put in retail, so here's some retail space. And basically when you look in there, it's just nothing. It's just they don't care. It's just vacant concrete and just nothing. There's nothing. Right? Not appealing, nothing. They just do it because they have to. And all their energy is really on how many apartments can I get and charge $3,000 a month. That's what they want. But they don't think outside the box like the company that's building up the Trax development or the people that's building the Trent development thing, where Trent Development's putting in a lot of different things. Co-working spaces in there for people who live in the building or even outside the building. They're putting in a Topgolf swing suite. They're putting in a bunch of other stuff. It creates a true active space. It's not just a vacant, boring bottom, which is 99.9% of the buildings that are built in Tacoma now. So you're not going to get most developers here to do anything. In Seattle, what do you have? You have developers that build a 40-story building. You see that all day long. Nobody's taking the apartments, but you have like 30 buildings that are built. And down below, they're chucked full of unique, cool things. One of the buildings is going to have a Live Nation thing and all this stuff. You would never, ever get that here. You get what I'm saying? So it's a bit frustrating because there's the diet for it. There are people here that want it. There are people here that will support it. But we just don't have the fortitude from developers. We don't have the fortitude from leadership within the city to get stuff done. We have a lot of people that just punch in and literally clock out in their head, it seems. And they don't get stuff done. They get enough done to kind of pass things by and things function. But they're not really just a go-getter and going out and getting stuff done and luring businesses in and asking businesses, what's going on. There are some that do, don't get me wrong. But there's not enough that's doing that. So, I don't know. I'm not meaning for this to be a session of me just getting upset. But it's just annoying that everything heads north. Everything. And that we don't have the right people here to get stuff done. Tell me what your thoughts are. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit irrational. Be sure to join the Discord, which is down in the description box below. Actually, you know what I can do? I have this little thing now that I can basically put on there. Right there. Be sure to do all of what that says. Join the Discord. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you do all of those things. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.